Sure. Well, welcome everybody. Let's say pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's pray.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for this day. Lord, I pray that you would just be here tonight. Lord, that we would be able to communicate civilly, that we would be able to discuss things in a calm and cordial manner. And Lord, I just pray that everything we do would glorify you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
I'd like to make a note that we have a quorum because Andrew Martin present and Irvin Minge present. Have you had time to look at the minutes?
I have
Any additions or questions, amendments, or any of that stuff?
everything's the way it was.
Motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Make a motion second.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Has everyone had a chance to look over the pay vouchers?
Yes.
Any questions?
I make a motion to pass the pay vouchers.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Officer Pierce, do you have anything for us tonight? No. Our attorney will be here shortly. We'll leave this report for after he arrives. Old business, we have presented our 2027 budget to the DOTF. It appears that it's going to be approved. Therefore, our first public hearing on the budget will be September 8th. At 6:30. And the second public hearing, I believe, is October
13th.
Sorry?
13th.
13th. At which time we will approve the budget for 2027. Okay, as was mentioned in our minutes from the last meeting, it was discussed shortly or briefly. We were looking to work with local government website to design a website for the town of Dunreith. And it's through Indiana.gov, a program that they provide to help provide free services to the community municipals for the purpose of establishing a website for public information in such a way that we can begin to be more proactive in posting and presenting information for the community. And so we discussed this with them. It's a free website. It's up to 100 pages long, if it needs to be. And they will train us, and then they will go ahead and help us initiate the web page so that way we can we can meet legal requirements for having a community website, so to say. And so, I don't know if you had a chance to look that over, Andrew. There's 3 different templates. We looked at all 3 of them. The one that we are looking at is the most simple to navigate and the simple to update. And so, what is your,
Which one is that?
it's the very first one.
Standard?
Yeah, the standard.
Okay, so that's free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up to 100 pages. And so it comes with ongoing training, 100 dedicated pages, 10 users, payment process. We can actually set up payments through this particular site instead of going through PayGov if we so choose. And it also has calendar dates in which you can look upon it, check the calendar for the town events, meetings, other things of that nature, and stay abreast for those.
And this is a way for them to communicate, like us to communicate with them.
Yep. Yep. The town can go on, and it will also provide information for them. It's not a place to exchange communication, but it will be a place that will provide the necessary contact information for each council member and town clerk. That way you can contact us via whatever information we put on there to express your concerns or to discuss certain situations or circumstances or report issues within the community, whatever chooses we choose to get in there.
And I think we ought to take advantage of it. It's free. I'll make a motion to use it, to approve it.
I second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. So we will pursue this. Their next reaching out to us will be around August 28th to see how we trying to put together. We'll be working with our town clerk to see how we can help better facilitate some of the things that he may need for making sure he keeps the public better aware as for the community as well. Any other old business that we may need to look at?
I submitted the VCAP earlier today. I had a little bit of spare time, so I went ahead and drafted that email and got
So
that.
that's in line, that's in keeping with our PACER rating and for the presentation to begin moving forward with paving grants for 2027, correct?
Correct. That the VCAP is a letter that we had to send to NDOT, outlining our plan to become compliant with the CC&G stipulations for the American Disability Act and then Title VI. That has to do with sideway ramps for wheelchairs and stuff. So there has to be a coordinator. We have to have a policy. We'll have to pass an ordinance or two regarding those. So.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, moving forward. We have a 93, 94 engine that's been sitting outside for over a year. We have tried to donate that to a couple of our training facilities. They have decided that wasn't exactly the way they wanted to go at the time. And so now we are looking to meet legal requirements by posting that on govdeals.com. And we are wanting to make sure that we have everything proper, and we will present this to Jeff when he gets here to make sure we get those answers for us, to make sure we can sell that truck. And then instead of letting it sit outside and fade. So those are so the intention is to put a reserve amount on it for bid for $5,000. We have to determine whether we're going to make it open to the public or government organizations only. Posting length of at least 14 days, and posting to be placed up on govdeals.com and shared, etc. And so we're trying not to squander assets, so to say. So we'll just have to wait for his approval on how to post that and make sure that we have all the requirements met by the time he gets here. Any other new business? We have provided Wesco with the proper information for what they need to begin to do the swap outs. And so it's just a matter of them getting things put together, identifying, and making sure that we can get the program. We have 8 already in place. They're already working properly. So we know that our collectors are speaking with the meters, and that there's been no mishaps or malfunctions with those since they've been placed. And they've been in place now about 60 days. So until we get a chance to get those in, do the programming for the automatic read, then we will continue to utilize our meter reader, and we'll do manual reads until that time, until the program is complete. Then we will let people know that those are in place. And so that's where we stand on them. So at this time, I want to take a minute, if you would allow me, to tell you how much we appreciate your concern and your support concerning some of the issues that we're facing right now as the town council and the community. I also want you to know that it's not our intention to intentionally withhold any information from any of you. And so we can discuss anything as public knowledge. And so having said that, we would like to try to answer some of your questions, provided it maintains civility, and that it doesn't go in the direction that it's gone the last 2 meetings. Is that fair enough? Hello? So we can give each person a few minutes to share what they have on their heart or on their mind. We can either decide to answer or respond, or not respond, until such time as we have legal counsel in the house. Is that fair enough? So if you have something you want to present to the council, we would ask that you step forward so that we can hear you state your name and address and then we will give you a few minutes to share what you want to share.
Now,
For some of the confusion. So who wants to go first? Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question about the
Will you please state your name and address, please?
Hi, I'm Michelle Vaughn, 112 Cherry Street. When the government website is up and running, will that also allow residents to pay their utility bill?
Yes, we can set it up for it to do that, yes.
We currently do offer online payments for the utility. That's new as of this past year. So the people haven't been coming in to get to pay their bill when I'm in the office. I've been educating the people then, but that might not have gotten out to everybody. So if anybody does want any of that information, see me before you leave. I'll make sure you have my direct number, and I can coordinate all. I've got a pre-made text message I can send you that it covers all of that.
But it actually, I think once this is in place and we get it all smoothed out, I think it'll even be an easier process. And so we're hoping to help make that a less of a hardship as well. Next. Brad? Brian, I'm sorry.
Since it's online, I'll just say I live in Dunreith. I don't get the address. I don't like putting that out there. But would it be possible whenever you guys have the mowing crew do the city properties, maybe take and clean up some of all that weeds and stuff that's overgrown out off of, over the sidewalk, the alley, right there across from us?
The what now?
All the weeds and stuff over here on the property that's where the big building used to be.
Yeah.
That's growing off the fence and over off the sidewalk.
I saw that today when I was driving by, and I told myself I'm going to try to get out there this weekend and maybe take a weed eater to it. We do have lawn care. I'll bring that up to them. So if you don't see it done by this weekend, no, I didn't get to it.
Plus, if you're coming down the alley, it's hard to see. You can't see
Agreed.
it coming that way.
And
So.
that's exactly what I was doing, and probably the only reason I saw it because it was in my way finally. So
Okay.
understood.
That's it, there along the fence row and there by the corner there between.
Yeah, from the corner of the alley.
Okay. Towards Mr. Vaughn's place. Next.
I guess I'll address the elephant in the room.
Okay. And you are?
My name is Tim Ginsleasing,
Nice to meet you, Tim.
and I'm a resident of Dunreith.
Thank you.
Brian.
Yes, sir.
My question is, the timing of the vote to do away with contract fire department, when there was no obvious public discussion in any of the previous meetings.
There
So,
wasn't.
let me speak, please. When and where was this discussed?
This discussion was held February 16th at an open meeting, a special meeting which is open to the public in this facility.
Okay. Are those minutes available?
Yes, they are. I think so, aren't they, Brad? Yeah, we will make them available.
That would be great.
Thank you. Who's next?
So at the last meeting, I'm Lisa James.
I'm having trouble hearing you, ma'am.
Lisa James from Spiceland.
Yes, ma'am.
But we live halfway between Spiceland and Dunn.
Yes, ma'am.
At the last meeting, you said something about, I've forgotten what I was going to say.
It's all right. If it comes back, just raise your hand. We'll get back to it.
So the fees on the website, are they gonna not be quite as expensive as the pay.gov? Because those fees on my $200 a month electric bill every month are at least $6 or $7, $8.
It will, at least what I saw on our website, that those fees are less than don't hold me to it.
It's a
It didn't specify, but in one place it said it can be between a certain number of cents up to a couple of dollars. And so we're hoping that we can, and then checks on the other hand was a little bit different figure.
I think that pay gap is a percentage, it's not.
It is, yeah. And compared to what we pay for our South Henry bill, the fee, it's excessive.
But at least we have a way to people to do that, to choose to opt to do that currently until we can find a better way to do it. And we're trying to do that. We really are.
There's some times in the winter when I pay $12 or $13 to pay my bill online.
My name is April Isaacs. I'm in the township. I live on 575 West. I guess my concern in all of this is, why would a town council ever want to remove a fire department that can save its community? Why would you ever want to take that approach? Financially, whatever's going on, but that is something that services your people that you're supposed to be concerned with their house, with their properties. You're the closest ones. I know how long it's gonna take Spiceland to get to my house. My property could be gone. This is the location that will save my property, my children, my grandchildren, everyone in the community, everybody in Dunreith, everybody close to us. To close a fire department has to be never even on your minds.
May I
Absolutely.
interject? Currently, closing the fire department is not what we've stated. The fire department, what we have stated is that we will not renew a contract with the current organization known as Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated. The purpose for that is because under their new nonprofit, it has the appearance of being a private organization. And the town council cannot see it in the best interest of the community or the taxpayers at large to take capital assets and fund somebody else in private business. And so that's kind of where we're standing on this. It's not that we still have a facility, we still have equipment. Just at the present time, after December 31st, we don't have personnel until if we decide to rebuild it, then we can do that. Yes, Ken?
Was it, has it always been that way,
What?
like it is now? I mean, are you making a change here, or has it always been, you say it's private?
So,
go ahead, Andrew.
So, I'm curious, and I'm going somewhere with this, okay? I'm curious, the signs that are in the yards that say, we support Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department, are those in favor of Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department or Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated? Because June 11th of 2025, the fire department is incorporated. You can find that on nbids.gov. So 6/11 of 2025 is not the same fire department as 8/11 of 26.
Downstairs, 104 Second, 306 Cherry, 109, 207 West Street. It's the same fire department that's gonna come and save my house.
It's the same fire department that's going to come and save my house too.
Yes, it is.
I support the Dunreith Fire Department. I live here. I'm on the town board. I was on the fire department at one point in time in my life. But like President Bench said, how can we take an organization that's privately funded and allow them to take our assets? And right here is the prior contract. I thought about this an awful lot. I grew up in this town. They were my teachers. I've got a lot of skin in this game. What?
Seems like you're mad and upset today.
I'm frustrated because my name's been dragged through the mud. And all I'm doing is trying to look out for every person in here. Whether you think so or not.
Tell me what prompted having to privatize it then? What prompted that?
I'm getting there, okay? So we have a contract that's public notice with the fire department. And right down here in the very end of it says this contract may be terminated only by either party giving the other party written notice via certified mail at least 180 days before December 31st of each year.
When was that contract signed?
Signed on January 16th of 2024.
So
It's a 2-year
previous-
contract.
Previous to 25,
Yes, it's a 2-year contract.
previous to 25, it was the Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department, not incorporated, correct?
Correct.
Then why would you have to have a contract with yourself?
That's exactly what we're trying to establish here, is that contract should have never been
Don't know why.
initiated by
It wasn't
previous
us.
council whatsoever.
It's, and I'll just be honest, it's a law school question, okay? And if we ever have to litigate this thing in front of the court, it'd be a very interesting question, because I think there's a whole lot that argues that this is a town department, okay, that it's a unit of the town, right? But then there's a whole lot of it that are things that you could never do in a million years. The volunteer department took the bank account. You couldn't do that. Clearly, the street department couldn't go, there couldn't be somebody from the street door who would go and just empty the bank account and put it in their own street department, right? So there's things that have happened, that if there wasn't a contract, I think the argument is clear as day that this has always been a unit of the government. It's always been a unit, and that's that. But the contract legally would ask questions. We've asked the fire department, their attorney, we've inquired, you tell us what you are. You tell us, are you a unit of the government, or are you on your own? And they have told us repeatedly they're on their own. That they are not a unit of the government. And that's what's made these guys decide what they're gonna do in the future. But I agree, it's frustrating for everybody out here to say, okay, are you like, let's use Rushville, let's use Newcastle. The Newcastle Street Department, we don't guess whether they're on their own or they're a unit of the government. They're a unit of the government, correct? The Henry County Auditor's Office, the Henry County Treasurer's Office, we don't guess whether they're their own entity or they're a unit of government. They're a unit of government, correct? That's the argument that would be made here. But for this contract is the weirdest thing. It makes it unique. But clearly, there's some impression that they're on their own because they went out and made their own entity, and they took the money that would, in my opinion, would have belonged to the town, right? So I don't think they get to argue on both sides that ask the fire department today. What do they believe they are? And they're going to tell you on their own that they're on their own. They're a separate entity. They're not a part of the town.
So then how does that answer the question that the county is giving them lit money? That's tax money. That should go to a private.
Well, that goes to tax money. Lit money goes to volunteer fire departments that are not a part of the town hall. Just because someone puts their name attached to it, that happens to the Bluewood Volunteer Fire Department. That happens to volunteer fire departments all over the state. Okay, they're all on their own, right? But this was an argument that the town believed that they were a unit of the town, and that was a question.
Sure. May I interject with this question there about the lit money? We have a contract from the township trustee that says, paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas the township requires the need for fire protection in the southern part of the township shall pay to the town the amount of said dollars per year for 2025 and 2026 for contract cost and for the department. When it says to the town for contract cost, that means that we can, as the town, under clerk oversight, can utilize that money to do whatever we need in order to support the fire department.
But it's
That
not being
means,
used.
wait a minute, that means if we need facility repairs, that means if we need paving repairs, that means if there's funds available, we can help them purchase equipment. But it does not mean that we should hand over because we have extra incurred costs for the township department.
Does
For
the
the
person
township
who, does the
support.
person who signed that check agree with you?
Sir?
Does the person who signed that check, the township trustee, did she say that was what it was for? Like right now, if you ask her, will she say it's for the fire department?
If it's
Or
in,
is it for
if it's
town?
in the contract, she can put for the fire department, but the contract says for cost. For cost.
I think the trustee would just.
So then in
Mr.
your
Honor.
budgets, there
Wait a
should be
minute,
line.
wait a minute.
May I say something, please?
Yes,
I'm gonna have my hand up, so.
yes.
First thing is, has there been any fraud so far?
Any what?
Any fraud in this town so far with the fire department's money?
That's still yet to be determined.
Okay, so, and so that was my findings. So what are you gonna do when you get this money? What's gonna change?
Ma'am?
Why do you want control of the money? What's gonna change this for my
It's not
town?
listen,
I'm just asking questions.
okay, and I'm trying to answer for you. But I know that's kind of the ideology that it's about the money. But we have expenditures that go along with having a unit on fire department. And if we can't allow ourselves the luxury of bringing increase and upgrades to that department with the fundings that come to us, then how in the world are we gonna maintain one that's gonna protect somebody's home?
So what money was spent from that money out here on the upgrades? Where's the receipts for all the things you've done?
That's what we want, we haven't received any.
So you have the money.
No, we have.
If I give you money and you put it in the bank and you don't spend it, where's it at?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
That's your
do you
answer,
have the money
though.
there? You've got
That's
the
your
money,
answer,
you've
though.
not spent it.
Keith Isaacs, Township Board, Spiceland Township Board President. I made the motion to give Spiceland the same amount of money as Dunreith. We upped it this past year to $10,000 for the fire department. Not with the town of Dunreith, even though the contract says it, I understand that. But you said you wanted to ask the trustee what it was for. I made the motion that we paid, well, we split the township in half. Dunreith does the south part, Spiceland does the north part. It was my idea that they get the same amount, $10,000 to go to the fire department.
And so,
Now, the contract, which we'll make sure in the future. Now, here's what my question is this. You are going out now to try to get Spiceland to cover for you. We're at our meeting this past week, and that's your idea, is that, hey, we're gonna get covered, we're talking Spiceland, which hurts me because a truck coming from Spiceland to 575, my house is gone. Two, I've seen both their nonprofits paperwork. Call them incorporated. They at least have 3 names on their nonprofits. Spiceland has 1. Scott Teague. That sounds like it's kind of personal there. Third thing is, this is serious. This is so serious. And we got egos. We need to come together. If we have the wrong terminology, the wrong contracts, let's fix it before the end of the year and get back to where we were.
Okay.
Period.
That sounds like the best thing I've heard.
Let's do that.
I have.
We can do that. I have mediated the fire departments before. The chiefs, have I not?
Well,
And
Let's
if you
do
take-
that.
If you take it to litigation, the only person who wins out of that is him.
I'll
Yes,
tell
that's what
everybody,
makes us
I say that probably once a
And all that
month.
money
I
can
tell
go to the
clients
fire
that all the
department.
time. Now, I didn't get it finished where I was going.
Hopefully toward mediation. Get it fixed.
I would
You know
love
what I
to
did?
I would love to have this fixed.
You know how straight up I am.
It says, this contract may be terminated terminated only by either party giving the other party written notice via certified mail at least 180 days before December 31st of each year. So when that incorporation happened, because they were a unit-owned fire department, killed this.
Iceland is a unit-owned fire department, and you're seeking them for their services. What's the difference?
But what I'm trying to
Let's do
say,
this.
what I'm trying to say is, we didn't do this. We didn't initiate this. The action on 6/11/25 killed this contract. We are allowing.
The action that.
Just writing that in the contract?
He's saying because they started the contract, but they started the contract why? They started the contract because they weren't getting money. They weren't getting the money that was allotted to them. Okay, then what was the reason?
I don't know. This was done by past councils, started in '99. I don't know why they ever agreed to start doing a contract with a unit on department, other than it was in lieu of, because at one time, they were taking the contract in lieu of the stipend that goes to each individual volunteer firefighter, right or wrong. It was $200 some odd is supposed to go to each active individual firefighter. So at one time they said, no, we're going to take that stipend and we're going to reinvest it. And so now they've had a contract that's been going on for however long, and it's in violation with them being a unit department.
So Spiceland's in violation then too?
I don't know, ma'am. I am not fighting Spiceland back.
You're fighting to get them.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say that either.
You
But
did
if we can't find a resolve, we're definitely going to, by law, we're required to provide fire protections, at least for the citizens of Dunreith.
Doesn't include me.
But ma'am,
And a year from now, it's not all going to matter for rural fire territory.
We don't know that.
We do know that.
We don't know that.
Yeah, we do.
Until I hear the state state that it's mandatory, I don't know that. I know that we have people that are in places of leadership that are working towards trying to put a coalition together, so to say. Is that not true? With Dublin and Franklin?
We have to by law.
That's what I
There's a
mean.
new law.
There's a new
Yes.
law.
Yes. Spiceland Township, Dudley Township, and Franklin
Franklin.
Township are looking to go, and this was online, are going to combine because the state is forcing every township in Indiana to merge with at least one other township that it's connected to. It makes sense that since those three townships make up South Haven School Corporation, that's the direction we're going. We'd like to go. So by a year from now, that paperwork and everything should be done. And then those three townships then will control the fire departments. And those will have to be done by fire territory.
Then I'm gonna ask you a question. What happens when the township takes control of the fire departments and they're looking at facilities and equipment that's owned by the town? How are you gonna recompense the town for the use of that?
Well, we'll enter in a contract. Like we've done. We have a contract with Spiceland. We have a contract with Dunreith. That's what we do.
Where we're at with this, Mr. Isaacs, where we're at with this is the insurance and liability that we also have. And the insurance is running us around $19,000 a year.
And how much are you getting from Lit? How much are you getting from the township?
We're not getting from Lit, what, 10? Below it?
I don't know the number off the top of my head, Irving.
And you're getting
I know
10 from us.
the township contract.
There's $24,000 that they have not got in the past couple of years. Is that going for insurance?
That still doesn't answer my question. Dunreith community, the citizens of the incorporation, based upon definition, own the firehouse and the trucks and all the equipment that's inside that firehouse.
Well, but you haven't purchased all of this.
Yes, we have. They've been purchased under the town TIN.
Yes, but, yeah.
So I don't want to argue that, but I'm asking you, that if it goes our territory, and what happens if Dunreith is not part of the battalion? And so if we go for our territory, and you want to use Dunreith as one of your battalions, how are you going to compensate the town for the facility and the equipment?
Well, I'd probably ask the Franklin Township trustee what she's doing it now, because they are fire territory. So see,
And I understand that part of that happened is that when they went for our territory, they just recently, Louisville just recently sold all of their equipment to the territory here not too long ago.
Well, and the territory will have a lot more money than what the township is gonna have anyway, so that's one of the bigger reasons why we want to go to a fire territory.
Well,
Whether
I have
I'll
to
be involved
admit,
at that time, I don't know.
I have to admit, I'm not opposed to a fire territory. But I am opposed to work to not having proper oversight and accountability until such time as that we have to become a participant of it.
Well, I'm sure we'll work everything out because we will mediate and
I
we'll
want
work
to get
things
to
out.
Miss Jane, she's been waiting.
Everybody's said what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Fire chief's asked him a few times, so he can just.
I cannot speak directly to Jeffrey, his attorney's client privilege. But this is addressed to the townspeople of Dunedin that, I don't know the exact date, I've got it in my notes in my phone. But we went to Mr. Jeffrey's office.
March of 25.
Yeah, urban bid. Mr. Jeffrey stated, plainly stated, and Ryan Hood, he's not here right now, that he did not understand how we was operating, commingling money under the town's tax ID number, which was basically a custodial account only. And that they wanted us to form a 501c3. In exchange, they wanted a 10-year contract, no money for that 10 years, in exchange for the titles of the trust. That's how the Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department 501c3 comes into effect. And before that, we have another 501c3, which we got that one under the previous town board. It's called Friends of Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department. And the reason we did that is because it's a lot easier to get grant money if you're a 501c3 than it is if you're under the entity of the town. That's the reason we did that. Separate our fundraising money from the Friends of Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department and have the custodial account underneath the town. The custodial account underneath the town is no different than how Steve Isaacs, you can attest to this. The band department, the FFA department, everything operated under the school's EIN number, but they have their own separate checking account. And at the end of the contracts, whether in towns in the past, the township money was written to the fire department that Donna paid the town in the past wrote a check to the fire department, and we donate, or not donate, put it in our cash, put it in our account. Same way with the town's money. We got $9,000 from the town. We used $5,000 out of that, and I told Robin, said, hey, take that out of that $5,000, whatever. At the end of the year, they'd write us a check for $4,000 to cover the $9,000 contract, and we would deposit that in our checks. So the 501c3 Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department is on their duties, because that's what they want. Now, they may get amnesia and forget that this meeting took place, I don't know. No, seriously, I really wish I would have reported
that meeting took place. I think it's a little bit different in the fact the question was asked, are you an entity of the town or are you not? And your answer was, we are not. And I said, well, show me where you're not.
And that was not. Sorry, I can't talk to you. The violation of attorney-client privilege.
But
that was the town's intention for us to form a 501c3 to be separate from that.
But under that understanding, the 501c3 was in order for you to handle your fundraiser money. That's what we were told by Ms. Culver, that she encouraged you to get your incorporation. And when you and I spoke, it's been a while, but we spoke on the phone, and I said then, it was my understanding that the 501c3 was so that you could handle your fundraiser money without commingling tax-funded dollars.
That's not the way I understood it.
Well, that's the way we understand the 501c3. Because when you're looking at, and I mean, you can't take tax-funded dollars and not be accountable. Right or wrong?
Well, what, if the W Volunteer Fire Department was a separate entity, why do we file an entity report every year with the State Board of Accounts?
If you were what?
If we wasn't an entity before, we would always file.
Because you have to give an account of your fundraisers.
That's what, no, we have to give an account of the money we got.
It sounds like Dunreith is hereby saying we are not an entity of the town. It sounds like, I don't know why we shouldn't even dispute that. It sounds like you're saying you're not. And if you're not, then it would behoove you, in my opinion, as you use the word mediation, I love the word mediation, it would behoove you to be on good terms with the town board, to communicate, to have an open channel. And I don't think that has happened in this situation. Could that fall on some of the town board? Could that fall on the fire department? I don't know what it is, but there's certainly not been good communication. And if you're asking them to give you money to support you, to let you use their facilities, to let you use their EIN, to let you use the vehicles that are titled in their name, to me it would seem that there needs to be some open communication and good communication there. It can't be, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm not accusing of that. I'm not accusing of that. But there can't be that way. So on some level, this board has to decide if they want to work with you. And it sounds like you have at least a little bit of their ear. To me, it would behoove you to try to open those channels and communicate, rather than just saying, we're going to do what we want, you guys are wrong, we're going to put signs in your yard, we're going to have a bunch of people come to the meeting, we're going to scream at them. But we could set up meetings and discuss those things and say, what are the terms that the board's looking for? What are the costs? What are their costs? Because like it or not, guys, like it or not, this is real. SB1 came, it's here, and I think it'll be remedied 3 or 4 years, 5 years from now. But right now, it's here, it's real. And they're not gonna remedy it until it does harm, okay? And everybody's getting hurt, not just fire departments, everybody. And they're going to have to, and it's easy if you don't sit in their chairs, and I encourage everybody to get in politics at some point in local, because they have to worry about costs too, right? And I can assure you that their costs, what Spiceland's offering is significantly more efficient for this town board than what the current program is. And so you have to be, I'm not saying you need to match that. I'm just saying you need to be able to communicate and negotiate with that. You know, at any point, if you send an off, like some kind of letter, and you talk to them and say, hey, I would love to talk to you about why we think we're your best option, why we want you to continue with us. Because you have to do that. If you're not a unit of the board of the town, you have to do that.
This is my response to the town people of town. I called Mr. Irvin Benz on the phone. I said, hey, Irv, let's sit down, let's try to find some common ground where you're at and where we're at. And you're probably going to forget this fucking conversation. But let's find where you're at, where we're at, try to find some common ground on this. No, don't let the large happen. Was my response to that.
At that time, yes. At that time, because there was mediation.
Well,
on
your part, you have never reached out to me and said, hey, let's try to sit down and come to an agreement.
I think
the next thing I know, I hear you're talking to Spice.
I think that goes both ways.
Well, our lawyers even sent your lawyer a letter at the end of that saying, we're looking forward to sitting down with you.
When we had inventory, your first statement was that I would like to be separate from the town because I don't want to wait on the town for funding. Is that not correct?
No, I did not.
Yes, she did say that.
If I did, I don't.
See, so now we're back where I can forget, you can forget, okay?
Well, I don't recall saying.
But you did say that.
I didn't.
One time you said you would like to see the town instead of paying $9,000 a year, you said you'd like to see the town pay $15,000 a year. And at that time, I stated that there was no way that this community at this time could afford that kind of money.
I never said that.
Then,
Now, I've been on many boards, I've been in schools, and I've done a heck of a lot of budgets, and I always say, hey, I'd like to have this amount too. Well, I'd like to know two things. One, when can we just sit down and mediate this? Two, no, there's three things. Two, I'd like to know the deal we're working with Spiceland and what they have to offer. And three, if we dissolve this, how many trucks do we have?
Right.
3 trucks, we dissolve that. And my house starts to burn, we call out 3 every time in Henry County, right? So now, that'll be Spiceland, Nicetown, and who else is not downtown? Worcester. 20 minutes away.
20 minutes away plus the volunteer people getting to
Getting
this.
there and then coming.
You're at least 45 minutes away.
So, can you answer number 2? Yep.
What was the question?
2 was Spiceland. What's the deal we're working with Spiceland? What they have to offer, which is so much less than what Dunreith.
Is Spiceland Incorporated?
Yes.
I'm learning a lot here, so I'm soaking a lot of this in.
Yes.
But it's my understanding Spiceland is a unit owned.
Yes.
So we're gonna take Dunreith money and pay Spiceland, we can't do that with our, I don't know if you brought that up.
Own truck.
Well, and that's the question.
Your own truck.
And, but, okay, let me ask you this. Should this board be able to contract with Spiceland at a cheaper rate than they can their own board?
Absolutely not. This is Dunreith.
They're gonna jeopardize my
That's what my
home
question
for a cheaper
my
rate.
question is, because you, like it or not, they have a budget, okay, they have restraints, they have limits, right? Should it be, so if the number's cheaper for Spiceland, what would you do?
If Coca-Cola was cheaper, we got our money.
Well, I don't think that's. No, not big profits over people, but you have to, there's a budget in government.
Exactly what you're
And
doing.
I understand that, but my concern is, why in the world, I mean, Spiceland, instead, if I were the chief of Spiceland, I'd be saying, I want another chief there. I want more people in Dunreith. I want to build as big a protection that I can for my community. But instead, they're coming in and undermining in order to get this at a lower cost. Why? Just to run the Dunreith people out? See, I'm offended by that. So, well, because there's conflict everywhere. There's conflict everywhere. So
Remember me saying I had to mediate?
there's conflict there. So he's coming, chief is coming here from Spiceland to offer you a deal because he would like to run out everybody that we've got here. And that's wrong. That's wrong. So don't be taking his deal just because it's cheaper when you've got great quality people here that can do it for
Are you
us.
saying we can't afford our fire department anymore?
I'm saying that the requests that were made, it sounded like, I don't get into our budget.
No, I'm
But I'm saying-
asking the board, I'm just, I mean, he's got the same money last year, right? I mean, I'm asking.
They got more than this last year.
It just hasn't been spent.
I said it hasn't been coming to the town except the last 2 years. $43,000 since 2010, $43,000 has went to the fire department, not to the town. $17,000 since 2010 has only come to the town to pay for the fire department. $43,000 of township money has went to the fire department
And what
since
funds are they
2010.
at?
Since 2010. The checks have been written to the
That's
fire
$3,000 a
department.
year.
we have the documents that show how they were written
Yes.
and how they were cash and deposited.
They
I
never
won't
went to
speak
the
for
town.
Tom.
I understand that, but I'm
We'll
just
bring
telling
it
you
up there
that.
in mediation. And so they'll allow on the table for you.
Okay, so, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm understanding is, you said that when they incorporated, that made the contract null and void as of June of 2025, correct?
That's how you can perceive it. but based upon legal counsel, we have been encouraged to fulfill through 2026 in order to give the right amount of notice. And the contract doesn't state that we have to have astronomical reasons for this. It says if either party should simply desire not to renew the contract, we must give them 180 days.
I understand that. So from that time, the time frame that you're saying from June, the town board did nothing until February?
No, I'm not saying that. Our attorneys have
And
been
it
in touch.
wasn't
Our
voted, and
attorneys
it
have
wasn't
been.
voted to get rid of the fire department until June of 2026, so what was going on during that year?
There was a special meeting. Special meetings are open to the public.
Is that advertised or what?
It was.
What it was for?
Where was it advertised?
Should have been, if I didn't get it in the paper because of the 48-hour rule, we would have posted it on our boards and at the post office.
But it wasn't had what it was about.
It would have.
You put it out there about the fire department?
Well, it was a special meeting.
Special meeting, yeah.
And
There was an intent for the special meeting.
under the guidelines for the council, we are allowed to have executive meetings based upon contract issues.
I understand.
Okay, so
I was an assistant superintendent.
I'm just saying
I
that
understand all that.
we can, that's the times that we can come together and discuss how we want to move forward. It's based upon contract.
And normally when you have something big like this, you discuss, okay, this is, we put it out there for discussion. We're discussing about not renewing the contract.
Yes.
So everyone knows that, and then it gets out there. And then the next time you vote on it.
And there's not, and I agree with all that, but there's not been any harm. There's no harm.
There's no
harm at this point. What's been done? There's not been a
I
decision
agree.
that
That's why I said we
yeah,
mediate.
right, that's what I'm saying. You guys
We gotta do the right thing here, Bubba. We've gotta have a fire department,
Mr. Isaac.
I agree.
okay?
Go ahead, Jim.
Then we need the fire department.
Both ends, yeah.
And not coming from Spiceland. Even though I do appreciate them coming, 100%. And I care about them as much as I care about them.
I live in town.
That's right. But you know where I live.
Yeah.
And
I
we don't
live in
want to
town.
undermine
And all these other
the good that
people.
we have here. No reason to do that.
Sorry, I'm trying to put together a timeline in my own head. So, when you attended the Spiceland meeting the other night, of great concern was the purchase of the fire truck. May I ask when that fire truck was purchased?
February March of 2024.
And who's paying for that fire truck?
Right now, the fire department is.
Okay.
However, there have been occasions when he has asked the town to pay for that payment. Now, we wasn't part of the negotiation for that. We were incoming council. However, the issue is not so much about who isn't. It's about bypassing the appropriation process. When council was given in formal meeting, taken by minutes, that says, you cannot do that. And so now, there is a loan at Citizens Bank for $50-some thousand because they put some down on it. But it is co-signed by council members, and the town becomes responsible if the fire department defaults. Based upon that default, the town is only allowed to have so much incumbent debt against their current budget. That debt overrides our percentage. And so that's where we're at. That's one of the reasons we're here, is because they forsook legal counsel, they backdoored the purchase of that, and now we're left with is there any place that they did an appropriation for that purchase?
But the
was it
town signed
purchased
it.
with
Yeah,
town
the town
money, or
signed
was
it.
it purchased with?
I
fire
didn't sign,
department?
I didn't
Previous
sign.
one. Previous one.
But the primary lien holder is Jason Green.
Oh, I understand that.
No.
So
It's
that's
the-
why,
it's
My
the
name
corporation.
is on the loan because Tim Martin's out of town. I was signing for the fire department.
but you're the primary signee.
But,
Yes.
but, you know,
Whether Kim Martin
we
was-
have a letter from the previous town board that states they were well aware, and their signatures are on that loan, and the loan's in the town of Dunreith. And Orange Jarvis's comment was at that meeting, is that as long as the fire department pays for it, and the fire department's paid for these last 3 trucks.
Yes,
Yes, they have.
I know that. But you have asked me 2 or 3 times to.
I asked you,
Yes.
Doc, on the recommendation of Donald Culver, the $10,000 that you guys didn't give us, that you guys make the payment on the fire truck.
Yes.
And that was based on it, and that's when you told me, you know, I don't like you having all these non-profits with Dunreith's name on it. You told me that on the phone.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go again. That's easy to forget, so I'm not going there.
Right.
So, but my point is that engine was purchased outside the proper appropriation process.
Why would the
Now, wait a
Dunreith
minute.
sign it
Wait a
if
minute.
it was?
I don't know how to.
They did.
But they
Well,
did.
they did.
Now, wait a minute, let me finish. And now, we have a 1994 truck out there that's in perfectly good shape, that's been put out of service. By who? The council didn't put it out of service.
Well, that's where we gonna do it.
Well, that's what I wanna know, because in a small community like this, and if much of your territory is rural, why do you need a 5-man cab? Why couldn't we have utilized the 94 until such time as we could have worked out something under appropriation and maybe have traded and helped with the down?
Well,
Instead of putting it out of service and.
I did try to trade that truck. The company that we bought that off, it states it's too old. Nobody wants that truck because.
Well, I
Can't get
understand
it
that.
like obviously.
So
We can
then,
keep doing this.
so since
We
the
can keep
fire
doing this,
truck
but I
is
can tell
such
you,
a big,
if we keep doing this for the next 6 months, I can't imagine that this is gonna be a beautiful marriage and this is what happens. So, I mean,
Goes back to my original statement.
I mean, we've got to have some discussions, and maybe it doesn't work out, but I think there's enough here for it to work out. But I think it can't work out in the current state where it's, everybody's telling everybody who's wrong and how much better you are than the other person, okay? The most important thing is for the people in this community to have effective fire protection, great fire protection.
And I'm not being facetious. Really, I'm not. And I'm not being in any way disrespectful to the residents of the township. But our primary responsibility is to the corporation. That's where our primary responsibility lies.
And that's why the township gives you $10,000.
I understand that. However, if we do not have a in-house department, where's that gonna go?
Well,
Once
if
the
you're cool
township-
enough to do that, yeah, you're gonna have to do that, but you don't have to do that.
I understand that.
You do not have to do that. We just gotta work out and get the right X's and O's and dot the right I's, and whatever needs to be done, taken care of. We have a great facility here. You have a great facility here. You all have a great facility, great trucks, a good chief.
Absolutely.
and great volunteers.
Great volunteers. There's no reason to throw away, go up the road.
I have never said that we don't have a good department. I have never said that we don't have
Saying
good
it, I just
volunteers.
said
But you're
you
so hell bent to
Ma'am.
get rid of them.
Ma'am, wait a minute. I wanna make sure I'm clear here, because we've been slammed pretty hard here the last couple of months. So we have never stated in one way, fashion, or form that we did not have a good department. We have some accountability issues, and we have some leadership issues that we need to get worked out in order to make this thing work like it's supposed to work. And we are by no means gonna allow a private corporation to dictate to this board how we're gonna do that.
Wouldn't Scott T be the same thing?
Sir? No, Scott T, I'm not even discussing Scott T.
One private corporation, one private corporation.
I'm just listening. Okay? You need to know that right now, I'm not discussing this as far as this goes with Chief Teague. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. I know that there's some, listen, I know that there are personality conflicts in every department in this county. I know that this one don't like this one, and I know that this one don't like that one. And I also know that there's protocol for each incident. And on that incident, if I'm misstating this, you tell me, Jason. But on that incident, is it or is it not first responder's job to become incident commander? Then that's one of the things that we need to work out. Because there are frictions between the chiefs. And that's that simple. And we don't need to be fighting with the chiefs at a fire incident on who's going to say what or boss somebody around in the story. If that's the protocol, then follow protocol. Suck it up, swallow your pride, do your job, and let the incident do what it needs to do. And that's where we're at here. I don't want to keep listening to somebody tell me how much problems they got between Jason and Mr. Teague, or Jason and anybody else for that matter. If we're going to have a good fire department, it needs to have a reputation of being able to do its job and do it well and do it respectfully.
And it has
And to do it safely.
Safely. That's another
part of the problem.
That's another.
That's part of the problem. Let's see the trainings that Dunreith has compared to what Spiceland's had.
I have no idea because I haven't seen the search.
I have.
Well, but see,
I've seen them all from Dunreith. I have seen zero in Spiceland.
My point is,
Zero in Spiceland.
is we do not have not one item of proof of training or certification for any member on Jason's squad. I do not have that in my hand.
I will get you. I'm a firefighter, I'm a firefighter too. I've been an EMT for 17 years. I have hazmat awareness. I have hazmat ops. I'm CPR.
I'm not doubting your credentials, sir. I'm saying,
AHS certification.
I'm not doubting your credentials.
There's you. Here's Captain Brandon.
I am saying that we do not have the valid certification where we can confidently say, yes, every member that shows up from this department on the scene is indeed Fire One basic training.
Have you asked for it?
Yes, I have. And Jason will attest, I have asked for that.
That's my apology. But I will get that to you if you want.
And so I don't want to keep beating the dead horse. But this is where we're at.
Okay. You go get it, go get it.
And so
I'll get it.
I don't want to argue with anyone. I would rather be your friend than your enemy. And most of you, some of you know that we have gone above and beyond at times to be a help for people in this community. We have. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I don't want to argue. We don't need to argue. But at this point, if it's going to be put to this board that you're either going to do what I say or we're not going to do it at all, then I'm not going to entertain that. And I don't think the board will either.
Isn't that what you're doing with the fire department?
No, ma'am. Not if that is the way, not if it's structured according to the perception.
This is my comment, this is just my personal opinion, but I think I speak for a whole lot of people. I think this has turned into a personal vendetta because they used their money to purchase a fire truck. When you said no, they did. It stepped on your toes, it pissed you off, and it's been a personal vendetta.
Okay, we're not gonna go back to what we had before, yelling. Yeah, you have a First Amendment to speech. There's a right to keep the meeting.
I have not even stood up out of my chair, ma'am.
No, but we're not gonna, and it's not just directed at you, we're not gonna have disorder, yelling, and profanity in the public meeting.
That fire truck was under the previous council.
With
Get
orange
all of
art.
those,
With
get all of
orange
the
art.
documents.
So I
and
think
things
that's
that
their
come
color
from
problem,
you,
and
so
that's-
it's not them versus
So-
them.
I mean, you made that obvious, and especially after watching the Spiceland Town meeting, that was really your point of contention was the fire truck.
Okay, so I'm gonna advise them, just like I advise every board I represent. This whole, we can just scream and shout whenever we want to, we can play that game at all. And you have the right to a public meeting. You don't have the right to speak. So a public meeting means that they have an obligation to have a meeting. No, listen.
Sir, I know the open door law. You don't
Apparently
have
you do
to.
not.
I do.
Not very clearly at all. Because here's what I'm gonna advise them to do.
Were we invited to speak?
If they are allowed to have a public meeting, and that means you get to come and you get to listen. It does not mean you get to speak. The only way you get to
Did you
speak is if
open
they let
this
you
forum
speak.
for questions?
People like, you're just destroying government being able to function right now. You understand that?
This was supposed to be a public discourse.
Yes.
I'm trying to explain to you.
This was actually.
You're doing a phenomenal job. See, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. You have to negotiate with these people. And what you're doing, you think that they want, you think that is creating an environment in which they want to negotiate with you?
No, from a First Amendment point of view, this was set as an open meeting, okay, where not only they conducted their business, and then they opened up the floor to public comment.
So you've ruined it for the future, because what I'm going to advise them to do is you give everybody 3 minutes to speak. You don't interact with them. They don't get to ask you questions. You don't have to answer their questions. Let them come, say their name, get 3 minutes to speak. They don't get to speak again. Okay, if that's how you're going to do it, there's no more hand raising. There's no more this person shouts, this person shouts. If that's the way they're going to do it, and they say, well, I've got my rights, you either don't let them speak at all, or you give them 3 minutes to speak, and they can all speak. We can set up rules and procedures. Then there's no more speaking. There's no more raising your hands. They're trying to be very cordial and allow everybody in a civil manner to speak their piece, which is a good interaction. But some people are ruining that.
I feel like that we were making headway, and then everybody's been calm up until recently.
I raised my hand respectfully to ask a question. I sat here for 20 minutes with my hand raised, and when I did ask it, I couldn't even get my whole thing out before other people started interrupting me. But when I speak, you all interrupt me? It's all on video. You're welcome to replay it and watch. I've been as respectful as possible.
We have it here, but I want to share something with you. We understood and we've given you voice. But we started off in the front of this meeting asking you to be civil. And you pointed your finger at me and you accused me of getting upset about something that I didn't have a hand in. I am just trying to fix a problem so that we can move this community forward. And if that is not going to be good enough, then I don't know what to say. It's just that simple. We are doing our best. We are doing our best to lead this community according to the responsibilities we have.
We also have to do it by
It's pretty
state.
easy fixes.
We also have to go by the state statutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't just run this however we want.
No.
We have guidelines that we have to follow.
Yes, I fully understand that.
So
do you have any ordinances that govern meetings that you're aware of?
that we are
Where in the past that they passed an ordinance that
They-
allows town comment?
Can I,
You do.
can I be honest? Up until this,
If they do.
up until this meeting, or this last 2 or 3 meetings, the town has never had this kind of participation. I'm gonna be honest with you. They've come in here, there's been 2 or 3 of us sat in here, we've been part of these meetings since 2020 when we moved up here. And the only time you get participation is when somebody's mad. And that shouldn't be. If we were half as concerned about the regular business and the moving forward of this community as you are about this one topic, there wouldn't be nothing hold us back getting done what needs to be done. We're trying our level best to get it set up where we can get grants for the paving here in town. We're trying our best to improve the electrical infrastructure so that it will sustain credible service. We're doing things that hasn't been even looked at in a decade.
And that's all great.
And so we're trying to navigate water here that has never been swam in, so to say.
But,
Because this has become an issue.
yeah, and you are jeopardizing our homes and our families by wanting to outsource the fire department. And you, Mr. Martin, of all people, know how long that it takes to utilize your department. How long to respond to the station? How long to get the truck to the scene and drop a tank and drop a line before you can get a line just here in town, let alone at Mr. and Mrs. Isaac's house? You know.
If people are available, it's pretty quick. If people aren't available,
You
gotta call the
that's
next
the best department around here when it comes to
Hold on.
I know you did. I'm not accusing you of that.
So why are you pointing your finger at me?
Because you know.
I also am trying to look out for the best interest of the town.
How long does it take for a room to become fully engulfed, Andrew?
Not very long.
5 to 7 minutes nowadays.
You know, it's been a long time since I've been on fire run. It's been a long time since I've been on fire department. I moved away for several years. So no, I can't tell you. I can't answer that question for you. Go ahead.
I have a question.
No, let Linda have her hand up first.
So my concern is this. It takes Spiceland 20-some minutes just to get to a call inside of Spiceland. How long do you think it's going to take them to get to us in the event of someone having a heart attack or stroke, which our fire department is top notch. They respond to these. And I can tell you that it took, when the state venue burned down, they were there in 6 minutes. 6 minutes. They need Spiceland there. That was in Spiceland. Now, I'm sorry, just from a resident and a taxpayer, because I pay taxes in this town. We have a lot of elderly in this community. We have no promise of no heart attack, no stroke. Minutes count. And if we cannot rely on a fire department to get here within the first 10 to 15 minutes, that's a matter of someone living and dying. So from where I'm sitting, you have the one fire truck that is it's in the town thing, and the fire departments are doing the same. From where I'm sitting as a taxpaying citizen, it makes more sense to come to an agreement with an active working fire department that are top notch on what they do. So whatever disagreements anybody has, they need to push that to the side, because this community wants the Dunreith Volunteer Fire Department, regardless of if they got their 5013C. I don't care. Personally, I don't care. I came from another incorporated town. Our fire department was incorporated and we contracted fine with them. So to me, it doesn't matter. We need to work this out. If we're not willing to come to the table to work this out, but what I'm seeing is you guys are dead set against working this out, and that is what we're all hearing. I know I'm not the only one that's heard this.
I don't think we've ever said that we're dead set.
You don't have to say it. It is how it's coming out.
You saying doesn't establish it as fact either, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I don't know that your response times are accurate. I'm not saying that, I don't know that, but I do know, I want to ask, you are?
Kyle Gross.
And you're on the fire department? No.
That's where I park.
Is anyone else in here on the department? Where is our EMT living that works on this department? Spiceland. So he has to travel from Spiceland to here, which is not much different than what you're already talking about. We have, I think, one EMT on the squad. Spiceland has 5. I'm just giving you some figures here.
That's why they're called out too. That's why they're called out three.
They do mutual aid. So I do have a question for Mark. How many firefighters on Dunreith Fire Department live in town?
I guess what do you consider in town?
Like in the corporation limits?
You and Ryan, is Ryan spec on the department? So it's just you and Ryan?
Okay. And you guys work?
Everybody else lives in the township. So that equates to response time.
I'm not saying you guys aren't wrong. I'm not saying that.
Usually.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is
the first one to the department.
Yeah.
When I'm home, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes everybody less than 5 minutes to get home.
Okay.
Less than 5 minutes. We're in the trucks roll. So.
I have an open mind to this entire thing. Because I live in town just as much as you do, just as much as you guys do. I'm in town.
And so do we.
And so do you guys. Like, we got skin in this too. This is not an easy decision. This is not something like, well, yeah, forget you guys. It's not about that. It's about what makes the most sense. Does it make sense to have Bison come in here? No. Does it make sense to work things out? Absolutely. So why not try to do that? We've talked about it.
That's what we do. That is, I think that's why everybody in this room.
That's what we've talked about. Who has said that we've been stronghold not doing this? Who said that?
Well, it just looks that way when you go on this bicycle and you start talking to them. That's what makes it look like we're done here. We won't. And what they want you to make consideration.
You don't have to hold it up.
Where are most of the calls for bicycle? Where are they at? That's at 70. Okay? And they're there almost daily. And how long are they up there for a call?
Usually a while.
Yeah. So when you contract with them and we don't have this, we don't have a fire department at all.
I hear you. I do.
Okay. I just want to
If
think that one
we're stuck
out.
on 70 for a while and there's a fire elsewhere, who's going to respond? Town, Louisville, Dunreith.
Done.
Mutual aid.
Done.
I hear everyone. I do.
Appreciate that.
I just have a question because I'm curious. On 40, before you go turn left on 3 to go to Rushville, somebody put a huge tower up on the corner up here. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's Verizon.
Oh, so it doesn't have it. I'm just curious where the smart meters, where does the readings get? Because I heard you say that no one will come out and read them after they're all set up.
Once they're all set, they're small readers. They're standing up this tall. One's out here on one of each poles and one's up on the east end of town.
They stand
or west end.
They stand on an individual post, or are they attached to your house?
No, they're on the same.
They're on a utility pole.
They're on a utility pole.
Up in the air.
Yeah.
The receivers are. Now the meter's gonna change out your electric meter. Like that's gonna be switched out.
Okay, and so eventually no one will read them, that it will all be connected to Skynet.
No.
You just asked, they're on the poles. They talk to the things on the poles.
Okay.
The things on the poles talk to my office. So I guess my office is Skynet, but yeah,
Yes.
that's
So-
where it eventually
so we'll
goes.
Our bills will still come from here?
Yes, ma'am. Your community owns your power utility. You guys own it. You guys own the poles. You guys will own these meters. You will own this infrastructure. It's the new infrastructure that we're investing into the town so that it lasts for another 50 to 75 years.
And this is supposed to bring your electric bill down, or what is the purpose of changing these out? I'm curious.
Because our old meters are becoming old and outdated, and they're slowing down, and we can't get them replaced.
They're more efficient.
They're more efficient.
They're efficient.
We had this discussion in 2025 in open forum.
You change your meters because once they start slowing down, then you're billing less, and then the utility can't pay for itself.
Just curious, January 1, and this isn't resolved. Who's gonna go? I mean, when call 911, who's gonna come?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Well, I mean,
That's why I know it's August.
we don't even have an idea. I mean,
We have an idea, but it's one of those things where it's like that's not our first pick. That's not our first priority.
Right, no,
Like it's we want to work this out.
I'm not saying you don't, I'm just saying, okay, if not, I just.
And then on that,
You have a plan long term.
So what has to happen before you guys sit down to mediate? What has to make that happen?
I guess schedule it.
We're not gonna do it without counsel. I'm simply gonna put it that way. We're not gonna do it
Well,
without counsel.
absolutely, but I mean, everybody keeps talking about it. How about let's be about it and do it?
I think that you just need to schedule it and get something going. And the truth is though, both sides have to come into it with open mind. You can't go into it with you're the correct party, the other party's not. You have to go into it with open mind and discuss it and see if we can, but there has to be a working relationship. And I think that's part of the issue right now is there's not a working relationship.
That's the mediator's job to mediate that.
Well, it's also both sides' job to do that.
Absolutely.
Both sides have to.
Everybody has to be involved, yes.
Both sides, go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
Both sides have to have an open mind. And you might have to say, well, I really don't want to do that, but if it's for the best interest, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And so,
You gotta compromise. You seriously
Yes.
gotta compromise and.
Yes.
exactly. I mean, the council just approved $29,000 worth of upgrades to the facility with no help from the department. And when we asked the department to help with us, then we got a no.
And when was this?
Explain it. Yes, I agree.
Because we house them. We pay their bills, we pay all their utility costs, all that stuff. But we had a breakdown in the apron out here in front of these three main doors, and it's been that way for 6 years. And we had somebody come in and paint it to make it better and more sturdy. Then we needed to put a roof on the facility because it was starting to leak. And so we would ask that if that's true about cost, then we should be reasonably be able to ask them to help the council maintain maintenance on the facility. I don't think that's.
When was this?
We just done this in November.
But probably because they haven't received their money
Right.
from
No,
that might be the reason why
no,
they didn't get.
No,
I don't know. You know what I mean?
I
That's-
asked and I was told no.
But.
There you go again.
Why, yeah,
There
yeah,
you
why,
go again.
yeah.
It's the he said, she said.
Right, but you
And
need
that's
to,
the problem I'm having because there's so much taking place out here and so much is being rehearsed and said that it really doesn't line up with where we really are.
so you guys just need to start here and put everything in the past done, and what can we do to move forward and make it happen? That's, you gotta let the past in the past and just go.
And we can take every bit of this tonight and advise it and then go from there.
I will say though, when you said that, I agree that me and my brother used to come a lot to meetings the very first one we lived here, okay? But as far as the simple things like putting up the stop signs and maybe cleaning up some of the areas and stuff like that, at that point, I thought, well, I know that I'm giving my taxes or whatever comes to however it's handled with you guys. So we felt like, well, you know, it seemed like everything was going good and not running everything. However, things were running really good. It didn't seem to have any problems. Didn't hear of any neighbors talking or any of things were okay. I only heard of the fire department issue 2 months ago, June. And so when you talk about a fire department, that is like a humongous ideal of change, okay? So yes, you're gonna get this kind of turnout. Now, I do know that you guys send me memos in our electric bill sometimes. You know, had this fire department stuff been addressed, had I known about a year ago or whenever it started, I would have been way up on it more and found out more about it.
And we would have loved to have been able to address it that far back, but at the time we could not. It's just that simple.
Because it was like investigating or
There
something?
was just things that we did not have the privilege of discussing. And so that's why we're here doing our best tonight to help set things at ease to the best of our ability so that we can lessen the tension in our community.
I'm just saying that
And be
it's usually
civil.
late in the game, is what it is. If we're all finding out this information later on, like, how soon are we gonna have to address this before it can be taken care of? That's my point. It's just, we can find out some stuff in
time for people to come together and say, hey, how can we make it happen?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just was kind of curious. That's
All right, well,
I will certainly advise my clients to have an open mind and take any negotiations seriously. I can guarantee that. And I, knowing them as I do, I think they will do that.
I'd like to thank all three of you for giving us a chance to speak.
I'll encourage them to let you guys, I didn't mean to
I
get.
appreciate it, Greg.
But then you said you were the assistant superintendent. You guys, you can't go to major city council meetings and school board meetings and all these meetings and have everybody just start shouting their own business there. That's not. So I'm not trying to be difficult.
You
I'm
didn't
just
go
saying.
through COVID, did you?
Fair, but I mean, I'm just trying, there has to be decorum. But I think what you're getting, this type of environment, is you should appreciate that they're allowing you to do this, because this is not a typical, this isn't typical. It's a good thing.
So may we say thank you? We have heard your concerns, and I can tell you it hasn't fallen on deaf ears.
And it's not taken lightly.
It's not. But we were in, really, we wasn't sure how to approach it until we just had some time to work through it. Okay? The only thing we ask is let's just be respectful of one another. It's easier to respect one another and help one another than it is to be part of the problem. It would be a whole lot easier to be part of the solution. And with some of the social media and stuff that's gone on, it's been very, very extremely ugly without necessity. Without necessity. And you know, we address something and then I'm going to be quiet. But in this forum tonight, you have all been given the privilege to exercise your Second Amendment right.
First Amendment, sir.
First Amendment, sir.
Hey,
No, I mean, you haven't given, you have given it, yeah, you have.
Everybody had the opportunity, as long as you just take the opportunity to carry and not use it, that would be appreciated.
You've been given the privilege to exercise your First Amendment right without what I would consider duress. And I would like to ask that you would take into consideration other people's differences and allow them to express theirs without slamming free speech, whether it's too religious or whatever you might think it is. Because I find it offensive that you want to be heard, but you won't let a member of our community put out a free newsletter that you can either choose to take or not to take. I find it very offensive. And I find it very disrespectful.
Are you talking about your newsletter that you used to leave at the post office?
That my wife posted, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so that goes both ways.
Yeah, I understand that, but we haven't said anything about whatever's there.
Well, I'm just saying it goes both ways as far as respect.
I
Because I
understand.
have nothing respect for you at all. And let me say something else if I might. I'm okay?
Yeah. As long as you stay civil.
At my home, I've been called on about, I'd say this year, at least 5 times, sheriff's department to come up. When I ask them who calls, they say you're not allowed to tell you. But most of the time, I can get out of them it's somebody from the town board. That's what I get from them. Has the town board called on me or the sheriff's department?
If there is an ordinance violation.
Mr. Dice, I would like to address this one. I would like, you say 5 times, on at least 4 of those, I have been responsible for. The other time, two times, the officers that came down did not tell you it was a town board because I sent them. I was off duty.
I don't know anything about that. All I do is ask them.
You wouldn't know because I didn't tell you. The other times I talked to you, 2 were self-initiated by myself.
I asked you who called, and you said, well, we don't know. That was your answer, then?
Yes, We don't know who called because I told you it was an anonymous passerby on
What was
40.
I accused of?
They thought that you were pushing trash down there over in the
You told me
little
throwing
valley.
trash along 40, that's what you told me.
Not along 40, down in the Gulf. They
the,
thought you were pushing trash over the hill because you had your tractor and you were pushing the trees clean
Well, I
down.
know you told me throwing trash along 40, and I said, go look, you had a camera.
Yeah, you said that you thought
I said,
maybe
"No,
it was
that's-
the
no,
gentleman
no,
down at
no,
the
no,
other
no."
end.
You came back, said there's no trash. There's
Correct.
nothing, right?
Yeah.
Why has there been so many times that I'm called on? 10 o'clock at night, the sheriff's beating on my door, and they come up to warn me and said, you're not allowed to cross the post office. There's 5 feet. You're not allowed to go across. And I said, well, show me. Just show me where it's at. Oh, we can't. We don't know where it's at. But we're just gonna warn you that you can't go across that 5 feet. So what was he doing? At 10 o'clock at night.
Because the complaint came out that it was happening at night. That's when the complaints are addressed, is when they come to us.
Where'd that complaint come from?
The post office complaint?
I don't know who it was.
I
I didn't say, nobody said, they just come and said, knock on doors.
Sometimes we don't get who they are. I don't know. I didn't come out on that.
Oh, so it's just nobody, I just can't go across a 5-foot area, but we don't know who does
I
it.
don't know where the 5 feet came from.
And I'm still yet to be, showed where it's at. Number 3, you just said something about the ordinances. You said the ordinance says, how do I know?
Tim?
I've been, wait, let me finish.
Go ahead.
I've been asking for the ordinances for this town for 2 years. 2 years. Meeting after meeting after meeting. I talked to the state. They say, actually, it's 2 weeks. That's what they tell me. I said, okay, it's been 2 years. They tell me to sue the town. That's the only other option is to sue the town. And I wouldn't say anything about the ordinances for Brad's sake back there, because I think he's working on it right now, trying to get it. But that's what you said, you gotta go by those ordinances. None of us, we don't have the ordinances. We don't know the rules, and I'm still, how long do I have to say that?
He
Number 2.
has put together a composite that he has downloaded.
2 years.
Wait a minute.
Mr. Attorney, 2 years. You were here at 2 meetings 2 months ago, and you said, I'm gonna tell this board to get you those ordinances. And I said 2 weeks, and you said it'll probably be a little bit longer, and it's been 2 months. Huh?
Jeff, can I speak to you?
Some of these folks were all here when I asked, and some of them said, we want a copy too. And you said, yeah, but you'll have to get something set up so they can pay for it. That's what was your comment.
What were you gonna say?
I've given him the last 10 years
Number
because
2.
I had to digitalize them, so that no other council, no other clerk treasurer
I'm
has
done.
done it, so I'm doing it.
Number 2.
And then I extended the opportunity because I gave him an index of all of the ordinances. I can talk louder than you.
What is it? I can't even hear you.
And I gave him an index showing all of the ordinances and told him I could make them available to him, and I can continue to supply him with the remainder of the ordinances as they become available through my process, and I have the availability to do it.
How many do I have? How many have you given me, Brett?
10 years.
No, how many ordinances have you given me? I can read and say, here's ordinance number 1 about dogs. Here's ordinance number 2 about streets.
I gave you the opportunity to have 10 years made available to you standing in that office, and you said that that's okay, you understand, and that I have these 10 years.
Here I'm standing.
Okay. Do you want all 10 of them?
I want all the ordinances. I want all the ordinances. There's an ordinance in this town, I need the ordinance.
I've given you an
And the attorney
index,
said,
and you
that's
can
gonna be
request
hard
them
because I'll have to go back
individually.
to enforcements. You couldn't pass horses on the road and all that kind of whatever. I want anything that's active in this town.
Do you know how to scan a document, and can you help me with it?
Ordinances, because you always throw it back on us. This ordinance says this, and ordinance says that.
Well, I have to make them available.
We don't want the ordinance says that you
all of them.
accuse us of something. We don't want to do it. Like playing a ball game, go out there and play ball, but nobody knows the rules, how what it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to do. Anything, fires. What about a fire ordinance? I'd like to know about the fire ordinance. How big a fire are you allowed to build? We don't.
Mr. Dice, have you submitted a specific request for a specific ordinance?
I've given copies of written copies that I want, all the ordinances. I did exactly what the state told me to do.
answers my question.
I'm trying to stay calm.
As to your question about who called, I don't know. I can tell you personally that because your dog was running loose in this town, I called twice. I will tell you personally because your dog was violating leash law.
How long ago was that?
When's the last time that they caught your dog and brought him to you?
A long time. And I came and told you that someone was letting my dog out of an 8-foot fence all the way around it. He'd have to climb up the whole roof.
I understand, Mr. Dice, I do.
We have a detective from the sheriff's department come down and put up cameras trying to.
Trespassers does not fall in my realm of responsibility.
I'm sorry, you had representatives from my department put up cameras?
Yeah, I had the detectives come down and they suggested I put up cameras.
Oh, that you they suggested you put up.
They called me and asked me if I caught anybody, and I said, not yet, I'm not getting anything yet.
Makes sense.
So that's, yeah, no, they didn't.
I thought you meant we put up
Oh, no,
cameras.
you didn't put them up. No, I put them up. Okay.
So, and I know of 2 occasions that you came and asked for ordinances, and our town clerk specifically told you that if you would visit him on open office, he would do his best.
That's not what the state tells me to do.
I'm not, I'm just telling you.
They tell me to go to the board, I came direct to you and gave you a copy, you
Okay,
gave it to
so
your
that's
clerk,
what-
and he told you guys to give me ordinances. And I don't have them.
Herb, I'm handling the ordinances.
That's the end of the story.
It is what it is. They've never been copied and archived electronically, so I mean.
So you don't have a copy, you don't have a thing of all the ordinances?
That's not what I said.
I can't hear you.
That's not what I said.
Okay.
They all have to be archived. If you request a specific one, it's much easier to get that one to you. If you're requesting them all, he can't give them all to you until they are all archived, which they have never been done. It is in the process, and I'm guessing it's
Last time I talked, I said, go back to the last just several years and pick them up so I can see what we got for its current.
And we have 10 years that's available for that.
But why don't I have them?
All you have to do is ask him.
I have.
He asked you to come to him during open office when he's here.
I have been asking for 2 years. All you have to do is ask him.
Yeah.
I've been asking, Mr. Attorney, I asked. And you give him the letter. I've got a copy of the letter right here.
Did you say that you offered to give him the 10 years?
Just move on past it. It doesn't matter. I will quit
All right.
immediately over the
During
ordinance
this meeting.
if we don't stop talking.
I wouldn't have said anything tonight, but you brought
I
up
will
the.
quit immediately over the ordinances if we don't stop talking.
Blessings on everyone.
There you go.